well, actually, if I think about my most recent example, I provided an exemplar, but they still had to be creative and do it. It was like, create a peptide out of 10 amino acids. I gave them an exemplar, show me the shape, show me what the bonds are going to be. You can't use my 10 amino acids, so you got to use your own. And so they all created their own thing. So I guess I gave them a model, but they couldn't copy it. They had to use what are the basics about this thing that I got to do. So yeah.
Yeah, I think if it's a higher level task, it's really hard for them to plagiarize based, or even, some people do say that it restricts creativity, but it also does answer a lot of questions for them, I think, and it makes them feel more secure in the assignment.
That's probably an important part of the deal, because from what we talked about last week and from what I saw, it's like, if you give them something open-ended, then like there's all that stress about, I don't know if it's going to be right.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's whether if they pick the right best choice on a multiple choice, that it's right.
Yeah.
If they compare and contrast that with some open-ended assignment, it's wow, it's a whole can of worms for them.
Yeah, and it's that whole challenge of being creative in the classroom, and I don't think they feel safe many times doing that.
It depends on the discipline too. I mean, at least in my discipline, they expect the canned content. I pick the right answer on a multiple choice exam, and I'm done.
Yeah.
You're going to make me do some of the higher level thinking.
Yeah.
That may be an obvious and clear upfront expectation in other disciplines.
Yes.
I guess it's not quite the same thing as exemplars, but if you kind of extend that a little bit, the beginning of the semester from the first small group, whatever their problem was, I let them know that I will drift in and out of their group, and when they present that I'll be actively there to help them if they would wish. And I directly tell them, to start off the semester, I can be as much or little as a role model as you would choose.
That's wonderful.
Because each big class is very different, particularly in the undergrad.
Yes. Yes.
So role modeling is a component of that, other than your formal exemplar.
Absolutely, yeah.
It can work very well. It's a safe environment. If they forget everything they were supposed to say, it's okay. We'll get through this first one and we'll go on.
Yes. And you could do that online in a discussion board, a blog, or even a WIMBA session where you're, taking their questions and addressing their concerns. And so I think that's a wonderful way to go about it. It takes a lot of time to go about it that way. And in nursing, that one-on-one is so important, I know, with those students, to get those basic components down. To reduce student stress, I mean, it's so simple. We just set our expectations, we're predictable, and we provide timely feedback. And as long as we do those things, our students are going to feel safer in the environment. I'm going to give you feedback within 7 days. I do give you feedback within 7 days. Well, this is online, not necessarily face-to-face. Then I do give you feedback within 7 days. And then, I'm predictable. Every week I give you feedback within 7 days. I do pop in and out of your groups and answer your questions. Or I don't, and I just work on the virtual office. Whatever I'm going to do, I tell you up front, and then I do it. And so, the actual lecture, creating the actual lecture, we can do it so that it's easily accessible to our students. So WIMBA or Tegrity, if you use WIMBA or Tegrity, they're going to have to be at a computer to watch it. So you could use an MP4, you could download it from WIMBA as an MP4, and you could actually post it to your site, or you could just let the students download it as an MP3 or MP4, either way. Is there a way to do an RSS feed so that they're, no, okay. Yeah. Is there integrity?
Yeah, you can do, if you're doing MP4 files.
You can do a RSS feed. So students could actually subscribe to the podcast from your class, and then every time there's a new podcast, it would just download, and they could listen to it in their MP3 player. Again, like we talked about, it's not enough just to have the video. We've got to have the transcript as well. And so even if, you're just hiring a little office worker or a student worker to transcribe it for you, it's going to be important that students have that transcription in case, because in the fully online class, if they can't get that data and they really do need it to do what it is you've asked them to do for the week, then we've got to have it up there in another format. And then consider the user. We don't want to give them a 2-hour lecture or even a 1-hour lecture because they don't have that kind of attention span. I wish they did. And I don't even know that we have that kind of attention span anymore. Do we?
Most of the data, I think, shows about 20 minutes.
I think that's, about 20 minutes is about all we can stand. And so as I sit up here and talk for an hour, I say. But but yeah, let's get it down to 10 to 20 minutes for them so that they don't have to, listen to all this information. And then, Michelle, I was going to ask you, Michelle is our resident integrity expert, and then Marilyn is of course, our WIMBA expert. So we've got the two experts here. Do students create the bookmarks in WIMBA, or do we create bookmarks and then students can access those?
Integrity,
Mhm.
you can do both.
Oh, you could do both.
With Integrity, they've got a new, and we're going to see more and more students doing this now, is that they have an iPhone application, or if you have an iPhone Touch, you can connect to a wireless network. While you're giving your lecture and recording it with something like Integrity, they can create bookmarks, and when they log in on their computer to watch it, they'll see those bookmarks, so they can go back and say, fellas, they were zoned out, I don't want, go back and look at this material.
Yeah.
And that'll appear.
And that's really handy. And that's not quite like clicking on the part of the transcript that we wanted to listen to, but it's close. It's close. So that's helpful for them.
In the archive of WIMBA, you can do that. You can click into any part that you want to listen to. But one of the things that students have done that are really savvy is to ask a question at a particular point where they want to remember it. Then they can look for that in the archive, click on that, and listen to the part they.
To the question, the answer to the question. That's great. So it really, here's the basic question, and lecturing about lecture. But is there a way to show what it is you'd like to get across, rather than tell it? And I'll give you an example. I'm creating an online course right now about aligning. It's actually Instructional Design 101. So aligning your objectives with your assessments, and then creating the activities, which is different than most of us usually plan classes. And I've taught this class for years. And I've taught it to teachers who are actually classroom teachers. And it is a very difficult concept. It doesn't sound difficult, but it's very difficult. And so, given the resources that we have, I brought in a couple of my colleagues and Mary from down the hall, and we actually filmed a group of faculty sitting down to design a class in this manner. So instead of standing up and telling them about this, we're actually doing it. They're actually creating the class. They're showing how, there can be objections, how the objections can be overcome, and at the end of it, this group of faculty have really the framework for an online course. So rather than lecturing about that, we showed it. And that we do have the resources here to assist you in doing that sort of thing. So if you want to, rather than lecturing about, and Lila, I'm just going to say, okay, hydration. Hydration. Okay. So maybe we actually come over to the skills lab and we actually film students who are role playing. These are the symptoms that would be displayed, and these are the things that you should do. These are the questions you should ask. I'm hoping that I'm coming somewhere near the sort of things that you would want to do with hydration. But So, instead of lecturing about it, you can actually show it, and then you can have the students, what was the sense that you made of this? What is the subtext? What is the text of this particular experience or this scenario? And so then that kind of gets us out of the telling mode and back into the, allowing them to see and interpret and them being more active in that process.